Recording in progress.
Exactly, recording in progress. And welcome everyone. So this Saturday is Water Lilies by Monet. All blames goes to Darren. That was his choice, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. I enjoyed this painting. So I'm using A4 paper size. If you are brave, you can take bigger one, but of course in 2 hours, you know, it's a good size to have some, like to have it done, to have it finished. Let's go quickly just through the colors. Then we go to the sketch, and then along the way, I tell you what I found out interesting about the painting. But of course, you already know that's the icon of the Impressionists and really well known. So I have greens, kind of lots of different greens. So just take all of them, which ones you have. So if let's say if you have just a 12 color set, you might have only one green. It means then you just need to do more work by mixing. Let's say you can mix green with white to get the pale one. You can mix, of course, green with yellow, then you get this very nice sunshine green. Then also mixing green with blue, then you get, it's more turquoise. So, or when you get the ready one, then it's just less work. Yeah. So of course, it's all about lots of greens today. And of course, let's say pinky violet. I don't have violet as a ready color. Then I usually mix blue and red. Yeah, and then of course you can mix blue and pinky. And then this is fun to play because you get different violet, different purple, depending if you choose dark blue, dark red, or you choose the light sky blue. And yeah, so and then we see not only the water lilies, but also kind of the shadows, some shadows of the bridge. It's not black. Yeah, so this is also one of the innovations of Impressionists. They started to paint shadows in color. Yeah, and this was their main fight, let's say, because before everyone would use, let's say I have something red, and then I have the shadow of this red object, then I would just mix red with black and I get this kind of dirty dark red, and this would be my shadow. But the Impressionists would discover that everything reflects in everything. And this is kind of one of the also golden rules of art. And once you kind of remember it and start using it, you will notice how your paintings become more vivid, more live, also more professional. So we would see also this purple reflects in the bridge and so on. Yeah. So I have also some of yellow. I choose the warm yellow, not the lemon one. And some brown, so burnt umber. And I have a little bit of Payne's gray. Can use also black, but just a little tiny bit, maybe somewhere. Yeah, in general, try to avoid using black because then it will make it dirty. Yeah. And yeah, so also for all the newcomers, feel free to stop me if I'm rushing. Feel free to ask questions. Yeah, we're here, a small friendly group. It's all good. Yeah? All right, so I remove my paints now. I'm going to be putting them in a while. And so we started with the sketch. Today the sketch is much easier. Yeah, then the last lesson, it was the human body, then of course was more complicated. Today, kind of we need to set the bridge. So I'm using the marker just because you can see it on the screen. Of course, you go with a simple pencil, with a razor, and sketch with me already straight away on your paper. Yeah, so I have my sketch. I have done my sketch, so we can start together, but I'll go with the marker so you can follow me. Yeah. And as usually, yes, the first thing we start any art is the composition. And also kind of the golden rule that we never set, let's say, the main thing in the middle. Yeah, so let's say the bridge, you can see also Monet, he placed it a bit up. So we have more space for the water lilies and then some background for the bushes. Sometimes you do the opposite. Let's say I'm painting the seaside, then I can have more sky, less sea, but never the same. Yeah, so never the horizontal line in the middle. And of course, we start with the bridge, curvy line. Yeah, so you can choose first the general, let's say high. Yeah, so how big is your bridge? Then on the right side, we see a little bit of the under part of the bridge. Yeah, it's a bit more on the side. And then it goes tiny kind of fading out to the left side. So it's, yeah. And then of course we have 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical divisions. Yeah, one really on the side. Yeah, maybe it also makes sense first also to get this middle line. Yeah, because also then we see how these vertical parts, they're changing. So of course it's a bridge, then it's of course 2 rows of them. And here on the left side, we see kind of they're matching. Yes, but then slowly so it's just the rules of perspective. Then I start seeing like double railing. So I see the front one and I also see the back one. Yeah. So, and I started seeing the back one on the on the left side. So somewhere here. Yeah. And here the last vertical part, they already kind of separated. I have here the frontal vertical part and the back one is kind of, I don't know, let's say almost centimeter away. And then also in some part I can see the back railing. It's not that let's say important, but of course if you think about those details, it will make your painting a bit more kind of professional, live. Yeah, instead of if you just sketch and the bridge seems flat. Yeah, with those details, then we manage to show that there is kind of volume, the perspective. Yeah? And try to do a little bit so the lines a little bit bigger. First of all, because of when using the brush, you might lose your bridge, you know, so kind of thinking in advance. Now with my pencil, I leave a bit more space for these railings. Let's say I make them a bit more thick. And then later when I put the paint, they'll, of course, I will lose some thickness and then they will become the good size. This is also the technique I usually do for like painting eyes. When I do the sketch, just kind of on purpose, I do those little details a bit bigger, because then in the end, I end up with the right size. Yeah, otherwise you end up with a small one. Well, and the rest, then it's more kind of, I mean, of course we sketch, but it's very, very freely. So the water lilies, also the lines here are like two diagonals. So again, this perspective thing. So here one diagonal goes a bit up to the middle of the bridge and the other one, yeah. Also do them different angle, don't do the same. So the one on the left a bit more horizontal, the one on the right goes a bit more kind of up. And then the story with water lilies. Let me think if I can. So it's actually not a bad exercise to remind all these perspective rules. So here I have like a cup. I can show you. So what are the water lilies? So if I look at them on top, let's say they're round. And once they go in perspective, so now try to follow the contour of my cup, and they go in perspective, and so the circle becomes oval, and it becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Yes, so it means the water lilies that are here closer to us, they are more round. The ones I see more far away, they can become even almost like one line in the end. Yes. So playing with the cup is good to study this. So this is the other rule, that of course the objects that are closer to us, we show they're bigger, and the far away smaller. So we think about these two, like the shape and the size. We can start, let's sketch, for example, here is also the shadow from the bridge. So maybe it's also kind of can be a point, where we can, I show the bridge, and then just kind of dividing the areas between the water. So it's a reflection of the water, and the areas of the water lilies. Maybe also not to get kind of lost in all the lines. You can, for example, make a little bit darker the area of the water, because working with paints, you will notice how much darker you need to do it. And it's also interesting, for example, to measure. So let's say all my size of my paper, and this frontal 2 rows of water lilies, they take even more than the half of the all water lilies. So let's say they take the half size from the bridge. But if I take all water lilies, here I see lots of rows, but in its size on a paper, they're, less, or the half of just this one. So this is, so also to think at the bottom, we make them bigger, less, also more round as water lilies in itself. And then we can start doing like more narrow the rows and lots of them. And of course, no drawing like lilies in separate. What you can do, of course, you can mark some separate flowers. For example, you can also notice, especially here in the frontal part, maybe you can mark some, circles that will be kind of just accents, but not. So this is all, again, as the painters were, they were impressionists. It's all about the impression. And the upper part, so there is kind of something darker in the middle, and draw also through the bridge. So don't try skipping. Let's say, okay, I paint here, and then I draw on top of the bridge. So do the sketch, and then also when doing paints, I will remind you, but don't forget kind of continue Yeah, so sometimes it kind of can happen. You I don't know, the brains, they maybe divide the, but and then there is some like lighter white flowers on the right, some maybe darker bushes on the left, but just approximately the lines. So, you know. But, yes. Good. Yeah, take your time for the sketch, no rush. If you're ready, then of course, let me know. Yeah, just like thumbs up or can comment. Yeah, so. Yeah, good. Fiona is ready. Very nice. Yeah, Rhonda is also ready. What about Darren Mel? Yeah, a few more minutes. Yeah, also nice one. Nice. Good. Then I will move this here if maybe Darren still needs it. Let's let's put the paints. So I will put, let's take a look, green. So I'm just putting the greens I have. Or maybe, I don't know, if you tell me you have only one green and you're really kind of worried how you're gonna do all these greens, you know, I can also then, let's say, work with less greens. You tell me. Or you say, no, we also have lots of greens.
I've got 4 and I can make a bright green as well. So I've got 5 greens.
Awesome. Then just like, let's make our life easier and just put them as they are. And because also this style, this painting is painted, it's kind of lots of tiny strokes of different colors, different tones. So we're gonna have like lots of different piles, and we're gonna work simultaneously with all the colors. Yeah. So here I have my. Yes, I will put also some a bit of, let's say, so I use Payne's gray, or you can use black. Yeah, maybe in some parts, but very little. Maybe just it will be kind of darken up. It's even better maybe to use the brown. Yeah, but brown anyway comes in as well. And some other side of palette, then I will put some pinky, reddish, and blue. So then we will use these for the water lilies. Yeah, so to do the violet. Let's see, red as well. And then of course some white. Yeah. Nice. So this more or less how my setup looks. Nice. And I suggest we start with the bridge, and we start with this pale green color. that in some places is almost white. And after this, we're gonna add, you know, some brown or maybe purplish shadows, and then it's gonna be pretty much, you know, the bridge. So here at the bottom, it's a bit darker green. Those railings, they're a bit lighter, yeah. But remember, try to keep a bit more this white area, because you see, like in my painting, it feels a bit shiny, this bridge, just because I left a little bit more, yeah, wider this white. So just don't lose it, yeah, don't darken it. So that's why we also start with so I take my kind of, yeah, pretty small brush. I will take lots of white. So here, lots of white and some of this pale green. Yeah, so even more white. And I like to work, my brush is pretty much dry. So at the moment I didn't even, like, I can tap it in the water just a little bit, but so it depends. In some cases, it's good to work with more watery brush, but with dry brush, what I like, it's leaving those brush strokes. And sometimes this is exactly what you need. So now I first go with the railing. And here, what would be like a good thing to remember, don't go the same lines everywhere. Yes, this is also something I repeat often. Make your painting different. Don't make one equal line that is the same thickness everywhere. So sometimes I put a bit more, somewhere I put a bit less. I mean, the paint, the strokes. So this is why the dry, like the more dry my brush is, kind of the more control I have over this process. And somewhere I can do a bit more darker. Yeah, so something. So I'm also kind of leaving white parts, and then here under the bridge, I can go a bit darker. Yes, and no worries. Once we do these little shading lines, it's going to look nicer. Here, for example, also pay attention the bottom of the bridge and where the vertical parts are joining this lower part. It has kind of like a bit bigger, like rounds. Yeah, so it's also something like an interesting moment that one can show, you know, because not to have just all equal boring lines, it's a little bit showing also the structure. Yeah.
Mine just seems very sort of the same.
You mean the lines, or?
Yeah.
I mean, well, we can, when we move to the shadows, this can be also the moment where you can kind of correct a bit. Yeah. So yeah, no worries at this moment. There is always.
I'm using a little sort of almost like chiseled type at the side.
Exactly. Yes. So, well, because I want my line to be a bit more thin, so I put my brush, let's say, with the narrowest, side.
Yeah.
But it's actually a good question, because I think I wouldn't even think of it. Just somehow goes automatically. You know, just depending on the size, because of course you would have bigger paper. Yeah, let's say the originally this painting, I think, was like 1 meter to 70 centimeters. So of course bigger than our paper size. Yeah.
Massive.
But what else could be a good tip, let's say, for trying to save our bridge as a lighter area? So I clean my brush. Yeah, I also can wipe it a bit if, you know, the leftovers. I can go just to the clean white. And let's say maybe I can go a little bit around the bridge. It depends, maybe also not like really, really clean white, maybe this tiny bit of this same green. But why I do it, especially let's say this upper part of the railing, or here a bit the upper part where this area of walking, yeah, because they show this thickness, it will prevent me going inside, but then with these all other darker colors. Yeah, so somehow the brains, then they keep in mind, they say, aha, here is already painted, then I'll be stopping a bit before, and then I will have this a bit shiny. Yeah, so just kind of, you probably, yeah, don't see nothing on my paper because I'm putting white, but just like lighter white strokes a bit around the bridge. And yeah. And then let me think. Well, acrylics, they dry kind of quickly. So if you want, we can just continue and kind of have our bridge in more finished, and then we move, and then we forget about the bridge and just do the all the other surroundings.
Were we supposed to do the railings as well?
With which color you mean? With
in the green. I mean the poles going down on the railings. Were we supposed to do those as well?
Yeah, those vertical ones. Yeah. So
I can. Lighter at the front, getting darker to the back.
Exactly, but like now I'm gonna be putting some violet and brown. So these vertical ones that are on the back, then I put a bit this purple, this grayish. Yeah, but if they have also some green, that's okay. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a mix. So it's even better. Yeah, so kind of give few strokes of greenish to the railings at the back, and I'm
just really nervous and I keep splodging my paintbrush.
Come on, relax. That's yeah. and then all right. So then I'll prepare some purplish mix. Yes, then it also depends. So like my purplish mix here, it looks like a bit grayish. And in this case, I actually like it. So I'm gonna, it's just because of this blue that I use. Yeah, and then you use the other blue. You can have, so if your purple, let's say, is too bright, what you do, you can add some white in it, but don't add it into the whole area of your mix, to the half. And then you have both. Then you have bright purple, and then you have like faded purple. I will also try to mix here brighter purple. Here I have one brighter, and then one kind of more grayish. Yeah. Also maybe like a little bit of brown, maybe somewhere in this purple mix. So today it's going to be like really, your palette will be full of tones, yes, and we're going to be using them all together. So here I have just purely blue and red, and I get some dark purple. The other mix I did with the pale pink and this blue and somewhat grayish. But if you just add some white, then you can also have the grayish purple. And the other purple I have, so this just the same, blue, red, very nice bright purple, and I add some brown, and then it's also actually nice mix you get. We can use it here for the shadow under the bridge. Yeah, it's dark, but it's not black. Yeah, so this is kind of the important story of the Impressionists. And well, for example, I can start with this purple with brown mix, because then I can put this a bit bigger, this line, this shadow. And so here I continue using like the same size of brush, but now to do these shadows on the railings, I will move to thin brush. And so the rule to do the thin lines is your brush should be wet. Yeah, so now before I told you for these green areas, let's use a bit drier brush. Then we get those brush strokes. And because when the brush is dry, it means in some parts it's not painting. It's like you move it and somewhere it paints and somewhere it doesn't. And that's how we get all these brush strokes. And we use this effect when you want to do the grass, maybe the hair, like also like many different features. And now I take my thin brush. Here it's kind of, and now I want to do the thin touch-ups of the shadows of the railings. Also do them mostly at the bottom, because the sun is on top. So the upper part, of course, usually stays lighter, and the bottoms are with shadows. And I make my brush wet, and I kind of also put more water on my palette. So it's kind of a puddle on my palette. And so I charge my brush with it's watery, lots of paint, and then I can get the thin strokes. But what happens, don't forget, kind of go and recharge the brush. So for example, I can put the paint, but then it's going to be gone. So then come back, get more paint, and yes, and here again we're playing with the same story. The strokes are not the same, they're different. Some part I have more, some part is thicker, darker, somewhere it's less, it's more pale. And in this case, of course, we can look at Monet's painting, and he did all these decisions for us. But if you do it, let's say it's your original work, then this is exactly your job as an artist to choose and show these differences.
Ow.
So yes, but also kind of don't worry, we won't spend so much time or efforts on the bridge. So just somehow how it works.
No!
What happened, Fiona? Oh my God. Don't tell me the water was...
I've just got every kind of paint color on the carpet. Yeah, I dropped my... Never mind, don't worry.
Sorry about that.
No, I'm really clumsy. I'm really nervous. I don't know why, and it's just like really silly.
yeah, relax, bro. Fiona, yeah. Yeah, singing helps.
That's it. Yay.
Nice.
Oh.
Doodling. Yes, okay. Yeah, I suggest we like the way you more or less you have your bridge, we can like let it relax, and if there is anything we can always do more touch-ups later. Yeah, the big job comes with all the other parts. I suggest we start with the background, so with the upper side, and following the traditional, let's say, route from light to dark. We can start with some yellow spots, then we mix green in, and we get this shiny light green, and we do those spots. Then here, of course, we have white flowers. So anyway, we put like, you can leave white paper for the moment, but then we put some still grayish in between, and then we go darkening. Then we have in the middle some shadow area, then adding some blues, some browns, and slowly darkening up. Yeah, and here goes the browns also behind the bridge. Yeah, and then we will move to the pond. And yeah, so take my brush. So let's say you can try, let's say I take the pure yellow, maybe a few spots, sit them. So here on the right side, I see some light areas. If later they're gonna be too yellowish, you know, too kind of screaming, we can lower them. And
are you doing that with a dry brush again?
It's kind of now somewhat medium, so I wouldn't say no. What I do, I have more paint, so I'm not being economical. I sit just more paint, so it's kind of covers.
What shape brush are you using?
So this is this kind of small, so it's a flat, yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's lovely, thank you.
Yeah, kind of. So this, let's say these three are the ones I would work today and no other brush. Yeah, the tiny for the details. This in the middle lets me get in more little areas in between the bridge, and the bigger later I use for uniting areas. I will explain a bit more on this uniting topic that I always bother everyone with this, because all right, so now I did some yellow spots. Now I mixed in a bit of greenish, but I'm still kind of in the light green area. And at the moment, I'm not mixing white inside. I prefer my colors to be bright. Later, if it feels too, I can always kind of lower the intensity. And don't forget, so for example, I start putting green, straight away put some of this color in between the railing, because might happen that you kind of paint all around and then you forget, oh, in between the railings we also see the bushes, but then the color will be different, because when you try to mix it second time, sometimes it's kind of, and what I do, I just go around different spots. So of course I kind of follow the decisions that made Monet already. He said, okay, here is my bright bush, here is something dark, but generally it's kind of jumping. And what I also use, I use the effect when the paint is gone from my brush, but not necessarily I go back and refill it straight away. I kind of use it maybe with a bit more water, and then I can have a bit more, let's say, pale accents. Yeah, so yeah, and then maybe you add now a bit different green and go playing around with some. But now we really try to work with bright and clean colors. Yes, making it very nice, beautiful mix. So we avoid now doing really dark because it's very easy to make all the story dark and dirty. Yeah, so the longer we keep it with those clean colors, and yeah, but of course later we will need definitely to add some darker accents, otherwise we will not get the feeling of the shape, of the depth. Yeah, and don't forget about the parts in between the railings, because I already forget myself. That's why I just, you know, kind of. And for example, the area with those white bushes, if let's say I have some these purplish leftovers, yeah, something grayish, I can also maybe also kind of just to skip quickly the white area, maybe some grayish here. I also in my set I also use a lot the gold color. I like it very much. It's kind of between yellow and brown, but it goes nicely in like I don't even mix it with nothing, and it really nicely kind of flows in between, and then later I get the shiny effect on the painting. Today maybe, okay, I didn't put it on my palette because maybe not all of you have it, but if you like spending your money in the art shop, yes.
Oh, no.
This is one of the suggestions that I like to do. Yeah, here also, so kind of I have my palette and I keep on playing. So I had those purplish mixes. Okay, why not? I go also here already, maybe in between somewhere a bit purplish, but yeah, still kind of not too dark, but and maybe I take blue and mix some blue with green, and you get also nice turquoise. Let's see if I add a bit brown, maybe then it gets not so bright. Yeah, adding brown is good to kind of calm down the color. So the same, I mixed blue and red. I got the bright purple. I add brown, and then it's already like calm. The same, now I made mixed blue and green. You get very like nice turquoise. But if I don't want it to be that screaming, then I can, yeah, okay, ooh, I'm going already too dark. Right. Yeah. So if, for example, you got some mixes and it gets too dark, don't clean your brush on your painting. Yes, so don't keep on moving your brush thinking, okay, now I'll get rid of this paint. Kind of get rid of the paint on your brush in your water cup and come back with the clean brush and kind of blend out some of these dark details. Yeah, sometimes it happens kind of. But the main thing, of course, like your color mixes should look beautiful. Yeah, so
really,
it's like, yeah, don't make it beautiful, don't make it dirty. Yeah, sounds funny, but here's some brown. Yeah, and then I go with this brown in between the railings. Yeah. And yes, and then we see under the bridge, and of course it's a bit more darker parts there. Yeah, first of all, they are also kind of closer to the water. And you see, I'm really jumping all around my painting. So I don't stay in one corner. I take one color, I put it here, I put it there, then the color is over on my brush. I get some other mix on my palette. I see where it fits. Again, I put it here and there. Yeah, maybe you can mix brown with yellow. Then you can get this also something maybe like this closer to the gold, and it's also like it's neutral and so yeah. So also get where we have the railings, get kind of the color through. So I put the brown on top of railing, and I put the brown in between. So then it feels that, okay, the behind is kind of one story and the railing is just on top covering there. And yeah, so it's actually then, so Monet was doing all this huge series. I'm sure you know, it was like 250 paintings of water lilies he did. So kind of lots of practice, no? And it was already the times when he wasn't struggling anymore, you know, being an artist. He purchased the land, and so it was his garden at his home, and of course he would go around and practice and paint. And
have you been to his gardens?
No. Ooh, I would love to. Any one of you, Fiona? No.
No.
Yeah,
it'd be amazing. I missed the exhibition in London when they had all the Monet. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yes. Well, then, like, so this garden is, if I'm not wrong, north of France. Yeah, that's where it's. I can see the town was called like Giverny, something like this, and the painting we are doing now in particular. So imagine how many water lilies he did, but this one, it's one of his first water lilies painting of all this big series. And so he was already around 60 years old when he started all the story. And yeah, then till the end of his life, he would do those water lilies paintings. And so this one, I told you, it's like not that big, say 1 meter, 70 centimeters. And then later, you probably know that he had like huge canvas where he painted those water lilies, like maybe 4 meter to, yeah, like wouldn't fit, you know, and easily, you know, yeah. All right, so here I kind of played around, yeah, with this background. Yeah, so also one of my usual suggestions, if you work on one part and then you kind of feel tired, then just, you know, change, kind of leave one part to rest, move to the other part of painting, and then kind of your brain gets rest, and then you can come back. Like, doesn't have to be perfect from the first strokes. It's always we come back to. You will be maybe surprised. The water we will have to paint really dark. So it's kind of first we're gonna start, and you're gonna put like a color. Okay, here are my light pink, light purple water lilies, and the water around. But later, for them to look nicely, I found myself darkening more and more the water. I was like, doesn't look yet like this. And I put more dark green, and I put more dark purple, and more dark brown. And so it's, anyway, let's say we can start with normal kind of greenish or normal brownish. Yeah, but also, again, not one color, it's all different colors. So now I moved to the pond, or shall I wait? Yeah, apologize. Sometimes.
The actual way that you're painting the like the leaves of the trees and the bushes, are you sort of just taking the paintbrush like this and sort of going up and down like that?
Yeah, it's more kind of tapping, you know, so kind of sometimes not even really moving the brush, but let's say like doing the vertical taps, you know, like shorter strokes.
Are there any horizontal, or is it all vertical?
Well, so in the upper side of background, they're more vertical.
Yeah.
When we're gonna move to the pond, then you will see the water part will also have vertical, but the water lilies will have horizontal.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm sorry if I keep asking questions. Everyone.
Please keep on asking. I then I enjoy having not being alone to talk. For example, you can work also. Be sure to put a bit darker here where our bushes are ending and the water is starting. So it's both, just like generally in nature, you always find those areas a bit more dark. Yeah, there is ground, and so yeah, but it can be done also, let's say, later when we're gonna be reviewing the whole painting, and then saying, okay, somewhere some accents are missing, and we'll do that. Let me think. Actually, before we all moved to the pond, maybe let's start the opposite. Let's start first with water lilies, since they're lighter. Then we are again kind of staying on safe side, so we can keep our light areas. And then we get in with the dark reflections of water. Yeah, so and then again, the water lilies that are closer to us, make them lighter pink, lighter purple. The ones that are far away, they are darker. Yeah? So again, can mix like in parallel. Let's say you can mix light pink, and next to it you can mix light purple. Yeah. And then can also have those in dark. And again, short, light strokes. Here again, for example, I prefer using the dry brush. So then my strokes kind of, the brush does some job for me, leaving those strokes. And then it's kind of the effect a bit of separate flowers. Yeah, there is flower, there is no flower. Yeah, if then like what I usually do, I take my dry brush with paint, sit some of those strokes, and then the paint on my brush is gone. And in this moment, I go to the water, make my brush a bit more wet, and then with leftovers of paint on my brush, I can go a bit around with the watery, yeah, and then it's kind of transparent, and it can blend out also a bit my strokes where needed. And yeah, and then again, so then my brush became kind of dry. And then again, I fill in with some paint. And yeah, and I'm playing around, so I'm not staying in one corner. If I chose one color and I put it all around the painting, then I will have another color. And again, I'll be doing it with the... And it's a bit the process. I mean, it takes some time. Yeah, you work on it. Yes, and let's say if I say, okay, I have too much strokes, I want kind of unite them, then I dip my brush into the water. It has those leftovers of the color I had, and then I can kind of go around with watery area and okay, so here comes the theory, or let's say the general rule.
Sorry, this is a dog.
Oh, nice. You can add also, so not only, let's say, pink and purple, you can also here maybe a bit of, again, light green, maybe light blue, somewhere in between. Yeah, so kind of don't stick to, of course, pink and purple are kind of main, but this bit light grayish, yeah, I can also do to make them a bit different. And yeah, and really no worries that it doesn't look now like it looks something unclear. Yeah, the story is that once you make light and shadow, yeah, once they're together, then it starts working, then the shape comes in, because we don't have shape before we have light and shadow together. So if I have only light areas, it will never look interesting. I need to add those dark strokes, and but we usually start with light because we don't want to get too messy, too dark. So here I covered maybe even more space than the water lilies actually will be. Yeah, but covering more with light area, I'm kind of staying safe that when I will be putting dark green, then I will have those areas in between. Yeah. And then for example, if you say, okay, I did some, can start putting some dark green in between. So it's kind of working all together on your painting. So I started talking and I forgot. Yeah, what happens? I wanted to tell like in generally. So the story is again about painting details and painting the whole, the whole view. You have to work parallel on both. So it's again the same when we do the sketch. First we sketch the big size, how it's going to look on our paper, the big volumes, and we slowly go in precising. Okay, here is the eye, here is this thing. We do the details, but it's so easy to get stuck into the details. So it's kind of, because I remember when I was painting or drawing in the school, and the teacher, she would just come and just kind of say stop, and you just, okay, you stop, and she said enough with details, sit back, look at the whole. So this is the constant jumping in between. And yeah, so it's of course important, and we have to do the details, because then our, of course, painting looks more interesting, more professional, and so on. But if your painting has lots of very nicely, very worked out details, but in the whole, it doesn't look as one, then that's it. Then there is no sense, those details, they will not look good. So the more important still to have your painting look as one all together. Yes, and what it means really defining those light and shadow. So it's again something I repeat. We are not painting objects, we're painting relationship between light and shadow. And if you start seeing your objects in this way, yes, this is gonna help you improve your how your painting looks. And there is one very good exercise that helps to see this painting, or what you're painting as one. And it is the halfly closed eyes. So it's you start closing your eyes, so you still see, but they're almost closed. And then what happens? Then all the shadows, they become one. And then it's easier for you to see where is the lightest spot. And for example, let's say I do this exercise, I look at the object or the nature, or even if it's the photo I'm painting, doesn't matter. And I leave my eyes the same as they are, and I just move it to my work, to my painting. And there and back, and I compare. Does my painting look the same? Or I see that in my painting, something is, some areas are jumping out. It happens a lot when, like, we paint too light inside the shadow, because we want to show details. And of course, inside the shadow, we also have some lighter areas or darker areas. And then if we don't look it as a whole, then we make some areas too light, but they are inside the shadow. So this is the where you will be able to see it with those halfly closed eyes. Yeah. So let's say people who have bad eyes, yeah, who need glasses. In this case, they're more lucky. I mean, because then it's easier for them to see this view all together. But when you have a good eye view, then you see all those details, and then it's hard to get rid of them. So, all right, I continue. Okay, talking too much. Let's focus a bit more on painting. To get more structure to the pond, let's say I work on this shadow. there is something browny, reddish, the shadow from the bridge. Yeah, so bravely I put it here. Yes, and then it's already kind of gives. Yes, and again, this line of the shadow of the bridge, I don't make as one. Yeah, so here at the bottom, maybe it goes a bit less, maybe somewhere it goes a bit lighter, somewhere it goes a bit. Yeah, somewhere maybe it's not, so the line breaks somewhere. Yeah, it can also be. And then also nice, for example, if you have some black there around, there is another way to get green. So of course we all know that we get green with mixing blue and yellow, but actually you can get green also by mixing black and yellow. So black and yellow gives you green, and it's very nice green also to use in those shadow areas, and so
a nice military green.
Yay, exactly. So what also should, like this will be more in the end, but so you know, if you look, let's say precisely on the regional of, in a general, so there is brown lines of shadow under the water lilies. So, but on the bottom part, of course, So somewhere then we will be adding those horizontal lines. So here maybe it's a bit too early on my side, but I just want to show you so you know. Something will be adding those, and this will be making like accent. And then you can add also those thin horizontal lines somewhere in between the water lilies. So why? Because all objects have cast shadows. We have sun, it's always there, it's shining. So if you forget to show the shadow, then it's always something like something wrong, And like if you draw a chair and you forget to put the shadow under the legs, then it's kind of nice, and once you put them, it's like okay, it kind of looks. I darken up. I put a bit more dark purple at the end. And also more in the end of the pond. The lines are more thin. They're more like there are more lines and they're more thin, and closer to us, less lines and they are thicker. And don't be scared. So from time to time, you can go and add some dark or very dark brown, or maybe a little bit of kind of blackish or very dark green mixed with black, like as an accent. So in case if you're feeling lost in the structure of your pond, then adding those say horizontal lines a bit, then kind of helps to set the structure. And
what color did you say under the lilies? Sorry.
Say again, Rena?
What color did you say under the lilies?
Under the lilies, like you mean
the shadow?
Oh, the shadow. I used, let's say, brown, somewhere waterish. This not black. I like to use very much the Payne's gray.
I love that colour.
Yeah, good.
Especially in watercolour, it's amazing.
Yes, in watercolors, you're right. It's kind of
sexy.
Impossible to work without the Payne's grey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I continue darkening up. Also lilies, yeah, also because yeah, can't leave them really white. Yeah. Also can sit these accents of yellow. Let's say maybe some spots. Yeah, I can also make. So just take thicker stroke and just sit some yellow dots and.
Where did you go? There you went.
Yeah, so then this shadow under the lilies, so then of course, yeah, it goes only on one side. Yeah, so not, we don't make this brown line on both sides of lilies, just on the bottom part. Yeah, the one we, and not only, it can be not only in the general, so we have of course those parts, yeah, also in between. So I have some part of lilies, this light pink, light purple, and there in between I can also do a few brown strokes. Yeah, of course, it not maybe so strong, a bit lighter, but a bit also, so then kind of shows the structure in between.
Oh gosh, it is so warm here, and it's not often you say that up north. It is so warm here. My acrylics are just drying out terribly.
Yeah. So having good weather is good, but
it's very unusual for England, really.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, England, we get used to the rain and the cold. We're hardy.
Oh, I'm jealous. The spring is kind of so slow on my side.
Where are you again? Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm in Riga, Latvia. Yeah, and so at the moment, and this is also my hometown. But generally, then I cruise around. Oh, actually, I have some news to the UK. People I'll be visiting. I'm going to Brighton.
Oh wow!
Yay! Yes. The first week of June.
I was born in Brighton. It's my hometown.
Ooh, nice.
What are you going to see in Brighton?
I'm just visiting a friend.
Go to the Royal Pavilion.
All right.
It is amazing. It's where the Prince of Wales, Queen Victoria's son, I think it was Queen Victoria's son, that's if I've got it right. So they built it, and it's stunning. And believe you and me, you will want to sit in the grounds and paint. It is just fabulous.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the tips. Good.
It's very Brighton's great.
Yeah.
Part time.
I usually always try where the sea is. It's kind of,
Yeah.
it's a good destination.
Up here where I live, we have sand. We don't have pebbles. It's very lovely. You just get used to the pebbles in Brighton.
Yeah. And when I was 18, I used to spend 2 summers in a row in Bognor Regis.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, and because I have my aunt, she's living there, and yeah, I remember this. It was stony and
Very, yeah,
yeah, but still was nice.
yeah.
Like,
Have you did you visit Littlehampton?
no, I never.
That's
Not
next
yet.
to Bognor Regis, and that has beautiful, beautiful sandy beaches.
Huh, curious. Huh?
Yeah. I should work for the tourist board, shouldn't I?
Yeah. All right. Okay. So also for those who are new, oh, sorry, I didn't get the message, but the mail. Darren, is the mail fine? Yeah. Okay, yeah, let her rest. Okay. We also have the WhatsApp chat. So it's kind of, we also during the week we can share and or we decide what we're gonna paint next time. But also during the lesson, you can kind of take a quick photo, send me, and if you have like doubts or questions, yeah. Or also in the end, then we share. Then it's also nice to see how others did. You know, it's so. I mean, depends. If of course I can add you now, or also like later, yeah. But like for the new ones, so just you know. So I can. Where is this line of the shadow? So what I'm doing now, I'm trying to work also. I take a bit darker, maybe purple or also brownish, but I try to avoid leaving this shadow of the bridge as one dark stroke. So I kind of also add a bit darker parts around, you know, so I don't have too light areas around it, otherwise it looks like a worm. Yeah, and I have to like I integrate into the and also don't worry if, let's say, you got all too dark. First of all, very nice way is to add a little bit of blue somewhere in those dark green areas. The blue will give it like quick, a bit more fresh feeling. And if you got a bit too dark on the water lilies, then just waiting till it's dry and putting some lighter strokes of just white can also, yeah, I can freshen up a bit if it's needed. Yeah, but then again, don't forget, don't put like too white in those parts that are shadows. Yeah, so this long speech that I was using, talking about the, yeah, so in frontal maybe. Yeah, and then again, let's say I can switch to my thin brush and do a bit more those horizontal lines. Yeah, so we kind of, especially there at the bottom of the pond. Yes, and I work kind of both. I sit the paint, I sit the line, and if I need it, then I just kind of blend it out with a bit watery brush, yeah, to avoid the.
Get off, get off, get off. Where are you? Here. Oh.
Yeah, and then again, if you get tired from water lilies, take a break, go back to maybe to upper part, if there is something you kind of feel you wanna work a bit more on.
I just get amazed at how you can teach us to paint. I mean, I don't know what level the other students are, but I still get blown away every time that you do a lesson and you get taught to paint something wonderful as this in such a short time. And it's incredible. It's blown my mind.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate your comment. And this is also something I remind that we paint only 2 hours. So it's kind of, yeah, don't expect to have the masterpiece. It's normal to work 4-8 hours, leave it, come back to another day. Yes. So
yeah.
But yeah, of course we try to finish it kind of in this time, and it's just kind of yeah, so then it's even more kind of, we do the details, but in the end it's very important to go back and see the whole of your painting. Yes.
Yeah.
For example, also a nice trick is actually to take a picture of your drawing, of your painting, because then when you see it on the screen, it's so much easier to see exactly your mistakes and these relationships between light and dark, between the light and shadow. And so it's kind of course, you don't do it all the time, but like kind of to have this check for yourself, it might help as
It's actually a lovely way of painting, isn't it? It's really free.
Yeah, that's why I think Impressionists, they stayed popular also 100 years afterwards, and no one is beating them.
Surprising.
Like all the modern art came in and pop art and so on, but Impressionists stay beloved, like their fight was how they struggled in the start to change the viewing of society. Yeah, society didn't want to accept this way of seeing and
yes, art has come a long way from when it all had to be religious painting, and then when it was all just very, it just all seemed to be portraits and stuff.
Yeah. Just
I think I'm just amazed that I actually look like I've got a painting.
I'm so curious. I'm always so curious to
Yeah, just
to see how you guys did. And all right.
don't use that.
So for example, here, I also feel I get a bit too messy with my green and brown. And now I add some blue strokes and it really freshens up nicely. Yeah, so in case, especially those like those water areas where we have the shadow. And then you can play around again with a small brush and doing some maybe a bit more details, especially in front. Maybe at the back, not so important, but in front. Then again, I have my brush watery and I go in filling in the, and I can do, so I do this line, and then if it's, let's say, too thick, I kind of blend it out in some parts. So put the line, and then of course, somewhere it gets too thick. So I kind of correct it. But just like what I mean, just some outlines. I can give the feeling, but also not too much. Yeah. So then it's kind of I do, but then I take them out.
Come on, paint. That's nice.
So if anyone is going kind of closer, yeah, so I don't know if like Fiona and Rhonda, you're new. If you want, I can give you number to connect, but it's maybe like we can do it afterwards if you want. But just
you're going to laugh, but I did not realize this was an acrylic workshop and I'm a watercolor.
Ah, surprise, surprise.
It was. I kept looking at the paints, which is totally opposite way of painting.
It's totally opposite.
Acrylic.
Yay. Oh my God.
So it was a wee bit of a disaster, but it was tons of fun.
That is fabulous.
And I thought, why the rest are so quiet?
Well, I was getting a bit self-conscious. I thought, oh, I'm really chatting and I'm really sorry, everybody. But I thought I must be the newest one because I keep asking questions. But,
no, it's some people, they like to paint.
right, yeah.
They just listen and paint. So I think it's not about being new or I also have kids lessons. And with kids, that's what I get. Some they're like asking and talking, telling some other stories of their own in parallel. And some like, but here comes the first one from Darren. So, okay, it's a bit shiny, the phone. So I just try, something like this. If you,
oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah, not bad at all.
That is wow.
So, yes. Maybe this side on the left, behind the bridge. Yes, maybe this one is a bit, although I like it, looks like clean and nice colors. But in the whole set that we should look, let's say, on water lilies, yeah, I kind of stick a lot my view to this area, so behind the bridge, so you have very nice these dark greens that also goes through the railing, but again, so I give suggestions, but you're the one to decide, yeah, if you correct it or not. Yeah, but I would come down a bit, kind of to make it more pale, like not even pale, but let's say calm green there, but let's say very detailed water lilies. My water lilies are not even close the detail. Is your Darren. Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some horizontal strokes of this brownish, like under the lilies. Yeah, but again, it's depends. Generally, I really like. Maybe there is even no corrections needed. But still, for example, okay, what I would do, I would take a bit bigger brush and find, let's say, some leftovers, some already watery, let's say some dirty purple, some grayish purple, And what I would do, all these part of water lilies that are under the bridge, that are in the depths, I would kind of cover them all with this waterish purple gray. First of all, acrylics, they have this quality that they're dry, and then you can put this waterish layer on top, and then you still keep like all the colors you have, but you change the tone. And exactly because still it's kind of far away, because now they look the same. The ones here at the front, so the ones on top of this big shadow, and all these small water lilies. Yeah, I understand it might be scary. Someone's like, no, I did all these details, and now you tell me to cover them all. But this again, a bit coming back to this story of seeing it a whole and all together. So then it should be a bit different. Yeah. So then you will get this perspective feeling. Yeah. Take a look, you choose. But the real nice upper side, the flowers of this green area. Good strokes. How you feel yourself, Darren? Oh, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, it didn't come out quite how I thought it was, and partway through it, I was having doubts, thinking, not sure I'm going to like this, but actually the end result, I'm reasonably happy with. I think, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously, amazing.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stop it there, I think.
Good. Yeah, that's also wise. Yeah. No. Oh. It's dark light. Yeah. So but in generally, yeah, what I meant, it's like I do it often. I have my acrylics, it's already dry, and then I just take some leftovers. It's all watery, my brush, and then kind of go all over and yeah, unite. Yeah, so, and don't be afraid, because if you have your paint watery, it's not gonna ruin, it's not gonna do bad, but it's gonna put the thing. So here I want the frontal lilies to be more bright, and then there is more, let's say, shadow and yeah, in the depths. But and like you choose if you want to experiment with that. Oh yeah, now worried about Ron and watercolors. All the story.
But you know, this one, I don't know if you can see it, but this was one I did last night in a workshop, which was
Wow.
view of poppies, right? So, but it was a workshop, so it was an instruction all the way. This, unfortunately, is a bit more of a disaster.
I think it's beautiful.
Disaster is good.
Okay, Rhonda, so the first thing that like jumps straight away to my eyes, you have 3 vertical lines on top of the bridge. So kind of just make one more bigger, one small, like blend one out, or maybe unite, but it looks like a fence, or maybe there are trees growing, or yeah.
Right, they were, yes, it was supposed to be trees.
Oh, okay.
I will fix that. I will fix that though. Thank you.
But
I'll do that.
I mean, even if there are trees, still don't make the same distance between them. It's also kind of common. Somehow our brain does it. We when we paint some details, we place them in the same distance.
Signal going.
And you kind of on purpose have to say no and make them one closer, one far away, and Yeah, well, I hope Mel feels better. Oh, I feel a bit worried.
Yeah, it's a headache. So she's gone for a lie down. So hopefully she'll be all right in an hour or two.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
How do you show your painting then? Do you just pick up your phone like you do normally and do the?
So like now we can see you. So if you're able to kind of lift, oh wow, take a look at this. Yeah, go a bit closer if you can. Yes, yeah, like this is nice. Very good. The one comment would be a bit the same that I did to Darren, that this inside part, a bit darker.
Yeah,
the inside part of the pond of the lilies. Very nice. All like it looks beautiful, all those white parts, but leave them in front.
Yeah,
and still kind of be more brave to put this grayish shadow, and then at once you will have this perspective, this depths of the view. Yeah, so
yeah, that's lovely. Thank you.
But wow, amazing. And Rhonda also with watercolors, like
Now my acrylics.
So yeah. So Fiona, I know, you did amazing job in acrylics. Yeah, cool guys. We are still under the time. I mean, there is no rush. Yeah, I'm gonna tape off mine, but we can still stay.
I love it when you take the tape off. That to me, I love that when you've actually decided you've finished the picture and you take the tape off. It's sort of like,
isn't it like it's a very joyful moment.
I'm going to say bye to everyone. Thank you so much. I will pull out some acrylics for the next one because I have some acrylics and I'll pull them out for next time to try that.
Awesome. Then I see you next time, Rhonda. Yay. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.
Right. I'll see you all next week as well. Okay.
Yeah, see you next week, Darren. Yeah, for Mel, get well.
Thank you. I'll pass it on to her.
Yeah.
See you all soon.
So do you do weekly classes then?
Exactly. We paint famous artworks on Saturdays this time.
Right.
And suggestions are very welcome. If you have some painting you always loved, and so I'm always happy. I always accept the your wishes. And yes, we used to have also a class also Saturdays, but a bit earlier, let's say 12 p.m. UK time. And then we were also sometimes acrylic, sometimes watercolors, and then mainly like 3 topics, but let's say mainly maybe animals or birds or whatever, like we agree or something. Now during summer, maybe a bit less. Now we have only one this afternoon. But yes, next Saturday, so 21st. No idea what painting it will be. We shall discuss and agree, but.
And does it matter if you don't turn up every week? So like if you only turn up once a month, or is it that you're supposed to turn up weekly? What's the sort of?
Fiona, I'm happy to see you whenever you want to show up. It's
lovely.
It's free, of course. It's if you want to do art once a month, and so no worries about it at all. There is no must, and
wonderful.
But I really loved your talking. Like it's I enjoyed this class a lot. Otherwise, sometimes I feel myself like just a solo talker, and so it's good. Very happy.
Good, thank you, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. It's I've not been well lately. I got COVID again, unfortunately. I've already got long COVID, unfortunately,
Hmm.
and it really made me poorly. So up until today, I hadn't painted for 6 weeks.
Oof.
So I've gone from nothing to this. So you've really, really given me that love of painting again. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, such a lovely comment, Fiona. That warms my heart. Happy to.
Well, you take care, and I'm just going to finish at home here dabbing away.
Sure. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, then see you next time whenever you feel to join. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.